From Dr. Don's Weather, this is your prime-time forecast for East Alabama and West Georgia. Be sure to follow the Dr. Don's Weather social media network across all major platforms for real-time updates and live severe weather coverage. This broadcast is made possible by our local community partners: Jimmy Stevens Construction, Brandy Pike Photography, Salem Auction House, the Randolph County Commission, N&W Locks, Genesis Weight Clinic, Inlow House Lodging and Events, East Alabama Waste, Anchor Roofing, the Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. Broadcasting from the Alpha Weather Center and proudly powered by Jeff Monroe for Alabama House District 37, the 19th hole at Cider Ridge, along with integrated contractor services, Derek Farr for Sheriff, Randolph County, Stevens Home Furniture, The Oaks, Fincher Fence, Boondocks Barbecue and Creamery, Donnie Grant Jr. for Sheriff, Randolph County, Southern Union State Community College, and the venue at 5 Points Farms. Here's Dr. Don.
Well, good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don in here with you on your Saturday morning, February 21st, 2026. It is 7:46 a.m. Central, 8:46 a.m. Eastern, and we are watching some strong thunderstorms across Alabama over into Georgia. So we thought we would go live this morning and kind of give you an update on what we have going on right now and what we think is going to happen throughout the remainder of today. First, let's take a look at the latest graphic from the National Weather Service out of Birmingham, and this is through about 10 p.m. this evening. We're looking at the best chance of severe weather across Alabama, basically along and south of the I-85 corridor on the eastern side of the state. And then from about Prattville across central Alabama over to around Selma, back to around Butler, right on the Mississippi state line. From that area south is where we anticipate the better chances for severe weather today. And even there, folks, we're not looking at a major outbreak of severe weather. We're looking at a marginal risk level, a 1 out of 5, with 1 being the lowest risk. Nonetheless, we could see some areas that could receive large hail up to a quarter inch in size, and then also damaging winds, gusts to around 60 miles per hour, would be possible from about Auburn to Montgomery to Selma to Butler and south in the state of Alabama. Now, that does not mean that our folks in Chambers, Randolph, over into Troop and Hurd, even up into Carroll, Cleburne, and then Tallapoosa, Talladega, Coosa, you folks could see a stronger thunderstorm, especially this morning. And we'll show you that. We've got some storms just off to your west, but we don't believe we'll see anything severe in those areas. But it's close, so we'll have to keep an eye on that over the next several hours. Then in the state of Georgia, pretty much the same thing. We just carried that marginal risk area from South Alabama, Southeast Alabama, over into Middle Georgia, basically from Thomaston to Macon to Sandersville, or just south of Augusta, south across southern Georgia, and then down into extreme northern Florida as well, maybe from about Fort Walton Beach over to just north of Tallahassee and north. We could see a strong thunderstorm down there as well. So those are the risk levels. Again, it's a marginal risk, a 1 out of 5. But we do need to keep an eye on it today, as we could have a handful of storms. Hey, look, so if there's only one severe storm out there today, and it happens to happen in your front yard, then it is a significant severe weather day, right? So that's why we do what we do, even when there is a small risk of severe weather across Alabama and Georgia. So let's go ahead and switch to the radar, and we'll show you what is happening at the moment across East Alabama. And you can see we've got some pretty big thunderstorms out there this morning, back from about Center west up there in extreme northwest, Randolph County down to around Lineville, Millerville, even down to Goodwater. Probably the strongest of them all is going to be down there around Goodwater to just west of Alexander City, and then back to around Rockford over in Coosa County. All of that is moving off to the east. Now, what I'm going to do, I want to zoom out so you can kind of get a look at the entire area, and then we'll go in and we'll take a look at some of these individual storms. So you've got heavy rain now moving out I-20 around Villa Rica and Douglasville, Douglas County, and that is moving directly over I-20 right into West Atlanta. So, things aren't good in Atlanta on a beautiful sunny day, much less heavy rain moving in. Then we have more heavy rain there in southern Cleburne County, and then that stretches down into extreme northwest Randolph, northeastern Clay. And then, again, that goes all the way into southwest Clay County, into northeast Coosa, about to move into western Tallapoosa. And then it stretches back there across Chilton County, around Clanton, and then just north of Selma to near Demopolis, and then back into Mississippi. Here's the good news. If you look at this thing, you see no severe weather watches or warnings in effect this morning for any location across Mississippi, Alabama, or Georgia. And that's a good thing. We're well above or well below severe limits on this entire line of storms. I mean, I'm looking on a different screen all the way back into Mississippi, and there's nothing. There are no watches or warnings out there. And the Weather Service is telling us that they do not anticipate a watch, at least not this morning, across Alabama or Georgia. There is the potential, though it's a small potential, that we could see either a severe thunderstorm or tornado watch across extreme southeast Alabama and southern Georgia maybe later on this afternoon. The Storm Prediction Center is kind of watching this line of storms to see how it's going to evolve. And if it does start to expand and strengthen, then there's not a zero chance, let me put it that way, that we could see a watch later on today. But again, I would really anticipate that being well south of the I-85 corridor if indeed that does happen. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom back in. We've got a hail marker there in central Clay County, and I'm going to stop the radar. Say I'm going to. Let me go back, recenter, and we are going to stop the radar and bring it current. And there's the latest volume scan from the National Weather Service. And then we are going to attempt to get you some times here on this storm. And you can see that just west of Lineville there, we may have a hail marker there. And I apologize. I'm trying to get this radar, which is being cantankerous this morning, to work with me. But you see just west of Lineville there, we have a storm, a hail marker that is showing the possibility, about a 20% possibility of hail within this storm. It would be less than a half inch in size. You got to be up there around 1 inch for it to be severe. If there is hail there, it's going to be very small in nature as that continues to move off to the west. So if you're in Lineville, it's conceivable you could get a little hail there in the next few minutes or so. And you see the direction the storm is moving. It's moving toward Wedowee, and then would be in Wedowee around 8:22 a.m. this morning, over here around Ephesus at about 9:44 a.m. Eastern. Maybe Woodland at around 8:29 a.m. This morning, about 35 minutes from now, if that storm continues on that track. Then we move down the line just a little bit. Very heavy rainfall just north of Goodwater. And you see a lot of lightning right there as well. Between Goodwater and Millerville, that's also moving off to the east at about 40 miles per hour. That'll get you right there in Goldville, Wadley, and if it holds together, eventually Roanoke will deal with this part of the storm as well. And I got to tell you, this is the best looking storm out there this morning. You got a little inflow notch right there. That just means this is healthy. Doesn't mean that it's severe. It means that it is a healthy storm, has a good foundation, a good structure, but it is well below severe limits right now. Again, there's another hail marker there. And this hail marker is for a 90% chance of hail. But the chance of it being 1 inch or greater is only about 20%. Again, we think this is about half-inch size hail. And this storm is, moving to the east at about 33 miles per hour. And then we move down the line a little bit further, just north of Rockford. Another hail marker there, 70% chance that we have hail occurring, 0% chance that it is severe. And then here's one over near Clanton. This is in Chilton County, and we have a hail marker there as well, and that one is showing a 90% chance of hail. This one has a better chance of having some significant hail here. There's a 40% chance it could be severe, with a size of about 3/4 inch in diameter. So, again, we have a little bit of an inflow notch there just south of Clanton, and maybe a little bowing trying to take place just to the north of Billingsley. So there could be a little wind in this as well, but that's a much better defined looking storm down there in central Alabama. So that's what we're watching at this hour. Again, no severe weather watches or warnings in effect for anywhere across East Alabama or West Georgia. You folks over here in West Georgia at the moment, nothing there but just some scattered showers south of Hogansville, also to the northwest, I should say, of LaGrange there, just southeast of Glenn, to the northeast of Lynette. That's not severe. Those are just scattered broken showers. Same thing happening around Roanoke and over toward Wadley and down around 5 Points as this storm system moves off to the east this morning. So we'll take you in a little bit closer across Clay County and show you that hail marker that's showing that slight chance of hail up there in Clay County is just north of Ashland. Actually, it just disappeared. So that's a good sign. That hail marker went away. So that part of the storm, the heaviest part of that line is right over Lineville, and it's moving right out 48. And that is headed toward Mad Indian Creek, Ophelia, maybe out there around the Highway 48 bridge. I think the heaviest part of it will rotate right across Highway 48, moving into Randolph County out there on the west side, north of Flat Rock Park. And then as we head back down that line, we'll show you some heavier showers and rain now near Hackneyville. This is up there in northwestern Tallapoosa County, near Hackneyville. And you can see that flashing blue. Let's go in even closer on this storm. And you can see that flashing bluish white color there, and that's an indication that we probably do have some hail in this storm right there along 63, just to the northwest of downtown Hackneyville. Very small area. I mean, we're talking, feet here instead of yards or miles. This is a very small hail core that's moving off to the west, and will move right over 63 there at Hackneyville. Notice that inflow notch up here just to the west of Goldville. So this is a decent looking storm. Again, well below severe limits. And if that hail core holds together, it's going to move pretty close to Goldville, maybe over there around New Site in about 15, 20 minutes or so. So the marker's way back here. It's a little bit displaced. That marker should be up here. But you'll see there that it's moving to the east at about 33 miles per hour. and the hail probability on this storm is about 40%. Also notice there's a good bit of lightning taking place in this storm as well. Very heavy rainfall now just to the west of Alexander City. That rain moving into Alexander City as we speak, with that hail core to your north, moving off toward New Site. And then heavy rain continues all the way back to around Rockford. And then you get over here to Clanton. Here's the third area of heavier precipitation. And this is from Clanton right along I-65, stretching back to around Billingsley. Again, we have a little bit of an inflow notch here, a little bowing taking place to the south, and then maybe a 60% chance of hail. And the limits have come down on this since we looked at it just a few moments ago. We're now down to about a 10% chance of severe hail. So that storm showing signs that it is weakening as it moves off to the east. So we'll zoom back out again and show you the big picture from Atlanta all the way back to Meridian, Mississippi. We have this line of thunderstorms moving to the east across Alabama and Georgia. Let me switch to the Montgomery radar and see if we can get anything any different here. And it looks identical to the Birmingham radar. No question, this is the heaviest part of the storm there from just north of Alexander City. As a matter of fact, we now have a meso detection. So what the mesoscale detections tell us is that the storm is rotating. Now, don't freak out because I just said the storm is rotating. All thunderstorms, by classic definition, rotate. That's what makes them a thunderstorm. So this is absolutely normal. What the meso detection is telling us is this thing's got a pretty good structure to it, but it continues to stay below severe limits. The meso detection index is at a 5, and the base height is about a little over 2,000 feet. And the depth is a little over 6,000 feet. So that's just telling us it's got a good structure. No indication of any type of tornado or anything like that with this storm. I was looking at it, and just looking at it on radar, you can see that it's got a pretty good foundation. You have these little inflow notches up here, a little bit of a bowing trying to take place right there. I mean, so this is a classic look at a thunderstorm that is below severe limits. And we'll keep an eye on that, but certainly no question at all when you zoom out, there's only two areas along this line that look decent this morning, and it's that one just north of Alexander City, and then back over here in central Alabama. This one really looks better to me than the Alexander City storm. You've got more of a bowing taking place to the south of the inflow notch, and this thing's crossing over I-65 this morning, and that is taking place. Well, let me see if we can get the roads turned on here. County Road 508 and I-65, and then back over the heaviest part of it there, maybe around County Road 447, back up to Highway 31. Pretty close to Verbena this morning, or Stump used to call it Verbena. And again, this is below severe limits, but it is of the entire line, that's probably the strongest activity taking place out there this morning. So we'll zoom back out just a little bit, and we will get you some direction on all of this. We'll put it in motion, and I'll hop over here in the chat room and see if we have anybody that has any questions, comments, or concerns this morning. Hello, Millbrook, Alabama. Very familiar with Millbrook, Alabama. I was born and raised in Prattville, Alabama. So I know all about some Millbrook. Good morning, 41 Siobhan. Good morning, Jackie Kimbar, 5231. Taylor's Crossroads in the house. Good morning. Chris Webster. So I've got you guys, Mountain Community in the house. There's Miss Kay Branch. I got Taylor's Crossroads on the map. I don't know if y'all have heard me talk about it or not, but I had a major computer crash about 2 weeks ago, and lost my WSV3 radar computer. I have a separate system, separate machine that runs the radar, and that thing crashed on me. So I've had to rebuild, and literally, the software comes with all of the major or medium to major size towns and spots in the road, but then you have to go in by hand and add places like White Crossroads, Springfield Baptist, Rock Mills Junior High School down here. You have to go in by hand and add all of that. And so I've been adding hundreds, if not thousands, of points of interest over the last several days. And I've got Taylor's Crossroads in here, but here's the problem. I have to go in and filter so that it will show on the map based off of population in those particular areas. And it's just a mess to make all this work right. And I promise you, I'll get it back on there, though. Mountain Community, I know I put you back in there. There you go. There's Mountain Community. So if you live in a little bitty spot in the middle of nowhere and you would like to see your community on radar, be sure you shoot me a message on Messenger and give me the name of that community, and if you happen to have the coordinates of that community, we refer to that as the lat long, provide that as well. If not, then I can probably find it. But yeah, I want to get all these little bitty communities back on radar, so that when we go into life-threatening severe weather mode, we can show you specifically the areas of concern. I mean, places like, and I'm not picking on you guys, it's just a matter of fact, places like Abanda. I had to put Abanda in there. Down here at Miss Mary's house at Frog Eye. Frog Eye does not come loaded in the software. Imagine that. I had to add that. But anyway, wait a minute. I think we just got a special weather statement for that storm down in Chilton County. And yes, we did. Beans Mill's in there, Remy. You don't really think I would have left you off, do you? You're in there. I'll show you in just a second. Let me go take a look at this special weather statement that we just got from the Weather Service. And this is that storm I was telling you that was the best looking storm of them all this morning. It's this one coming out of Chilton County, about to move into northwestern Elmore, extreme northern Autauga County. So this is the storm of the hour, no question there. And it's primarily going to be for small hail, I believe. Let's see what the text of this says. A strong thunderstorm will impact northeastern Autauga, northwestern Elmore, and southeastern Chilton County through about 8:30 a.m. Central this morning. At 8:05, Doppler radar was tracking a strong thunderstorm over Marbury, or 12 miles southeast of Clanton, moving to the east at 40 miles per hour. The hazard with this storm is going to be wind gust up to 40 miles per hour. Okay, so it's wind gust. And that's going to be because, like I said a few moments ago, we've got those little inflow notches up here, and this storm is probably the best organized of them all. So they're issuing this primarily for the wind gust this morning. So we're looking at this affecting, it just switched on me. We're looking at this moving into northwestern Elmore County. I think the heaviest part of this stays well north of Wetumpka. I know we've got someone in here this morning watching us from Millbrook down there right on the Autauga County, Elmore County line, and the heaviest part of this will stay well north of Millbrook. As a matter of fact, there's Millbrook. Prattville is right here, and so this is well north of you, and it's moving to the east, maybe a shade or a degree or two south of due east. So this stays north of Millbrook, north of Wetumpka. This part of the storm now, you're going to get rain down there in Prattville and Millbrook and Wetumpka. It's just not going to be this particular cell. So this will cross over 231 north of Wetumpka, between Wetumpka and Rockford, right along the Coosa County, Elmore County line, as it moves on off to the east. And I got to tell you, that next volume scan, the hail indication is gone. So this thing may be weakening as fast as it ramped up. We zoom back out, and that's two areas right there just north of Alexander City and just southeast of Clanton, moving into northern Elmore County. All right, let me show you Beans Mill, Remy. I want you to know that I'm watching out for you. There you go. And yes, I had to manually add Beans Mill. It did not come preloaded in the software. We're also putting the exit numbers on I-85, which will give us a good reference point when we're talking severe weather out there on the interstates as well. You'll notice that we've still got a few we've got to add, but for instance, there northeast of Opelika, there's exit 64, Highway 29. That'll just help those folks who are traveling I-85 when we're talking about life-threatening severe weather. So that's what we're looking at right there this morning. We just got a line of heavy thunderstorms. If you're just joining us, we're not looking or anticipating significant severe weather on your Saturday morning, but we do have a little thunder rumbling out there, and we could see this line of storms intensify later on today, I think south of the I-85 corridor. So instead of doing a primetime forecast this morning, we decided to jump in here and do a live update for you. And we've got another special weather statement just issued. And this is going to be for the Tallapoosa County storm. This is going to be places like New Site, Daviston, down there around Dadeville. North of Dadeville. The north central and northeastern and eastern reaches of Tallapoosa County. New Site, Daviston. I was mentioning Frog Eye a few moments ago. This will come close to that as well. Eventually, Milltown, Penton. If you're local, it's Pennon. Sykes. And this is over in western Chambers County. Again, this is going to be for gusty wind as well. Weather Service telling us maybe 50 miles per hour here with this storm as it moves into eastern Tallapoosa County and will be moving into western Chambers County in the next few minutes. So let me zoom out a little bit here. And all right, bear with me. Try to make this thing work right. It just does not like to do that. Let's try it like this. All right. So this is going to give you some times. Frog Eye around 8:23. Pennon around 8:53. Rock Fence Farms 8:57, and White Plains around 9:08. Understand, folks, when we show you times, these are approximate. This is not by any means exact. So, you know, don't set your clock for 8:23 if you're in Frog Eye, because it could arrive 10 minutes before or 10 minutes after. These are just basic times, best guess, based off of the motion and the direction of the radar. And the heaviest part of this is right here. And it's moving pretty much in that direction. So if you're just north of Sykes, anywhere in this area, right there in eastern Tallapoosa, western Chambers, just north of Sykes by 851, right out there on the edge of this by about 907. That red area will show you where the storm is expected to move within the next hour, okay? We pull these things out. The polygons that you see typically show where the storm is going to move in the next 60 minutes. And so that area there in red across the map that I just painted on the map shows you the area that will receive the heaviest part of the storm in the next 60 minutes. You know, give or take 10 or 15 minutes or so. Now, if you're south of this red area, north of the red area, you're going to get rain. I'm just showing you those areas that could potentially receive the heaviest part of this storm over the next hour. Up here in Randolph County, Roanoke, you got some heavy rain. Wedowee, it's raining up there. It's raining in Malone. It's raining in Wadley. But the heaviest part of this, there are two storms, and we've been talking about this since we've been on the air. Two areas that have the heaviest part of the storm. And that is the area coming out of Tallapoosa County, and then also that area in northern Elmore County. And we have special weather statements for both of those areas. No watches, no warnings. Understand and remember, special weather statements are issued when the storms are worthy of being noted. They're not severe, but they're heavy enough to where, hey, we need to put a special statement out about this storm. Then the next step is severe thunderstorm warning. And then the next step, of course, is tornado warning. We're not really in a tornado-conducive environment this morning, so I wouldn't be worried about that. Could we see one or two severe thunderstorm warnings? We could. I think most of the storms we see this morning, though, will be handled with special weather statements. Now, that's when you get winds over about 40 miles per hour, or you get hail half inch or 3/4 of an inch or higher. Now, that's when you'll start seeing these special weather statements, and that's what we've got going on this morning. We do have mesoscale marker. Folks always ask me what those little circles are. That's a mesoscale detection. That just simply tells me that this thunderstorm has a pretty good foundation. It's not severe, but it has a good structure. All thunderstorms, by definition, rotate. That is normal. We put it in motion. You can kind of see the direction that these storms are moving. Nothing in Wedowee, but just some rain. See, Standing Rock Cattle Company just asked that question. What's that little circle that's going around and around? Those are mesoscale detections. That's just simply telling me the storm is rotating, which is, again, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have anything severe going on. I mean, all thunderstorms, by definition, rotate. So that's just telling me, hey, it's got some pretty good rotation in it. That's up in the upper levels of the atmosphere. It has nothing to do with what's happening at the ground. That is one indication you need to be watching the storm, but there are multiple other things that you have to look at as well when we start becoming concerned about potential tornadic type thunderstorms. I do want to point out something interesting, though. Putting this thing in motion, look at the hail marker on that storm. It's riding right along now. It's riding right along the leading edge. Normally, that's a little bit further back on that line, but you'll also notice we're beginning to see a little bow right there. So this storm may be intensifying a little bit as it moves on into Chambers County. Heads up, if you're on the western side of Chambers County, basically from Lafayette back up to around Pennon, Abanda. And the storm's coming at you pretty good now at about 35, 40 miles per hour, and it's got 50 mile per hour winds with it. Let me just go up here and let's switch to velocity. And let's probe this storm. All right, so I'm seeing some 35, 30, that was a 38, that was a 40. See a 42. So I'm seeing some 40 mile per hour winds. Understand this is up at about 3,000 to 4,000 feet in the atmosphere. Then you take that very heavy rainfall on top of it, it can push this wind to the ground. So I'm seeing some 35, 40 mile per hour winds on the leading edge of this line of storms. There's a 41 mile per hour wind detection. So I think it's plausible that you could see some 35, 40. Most of you is going to see 25 to 30 gust, but it's certainly possible to see some 40 mile per hour gust right along the leading edge of this thing. Weather Service radar saying 50. Yeah, I'm not going to say that couldn't happen, but I think you're probably closer to 35 to 40 in most of those areas. We've got some heavy wind up here too in Randolph County, but that's not along the leading edge of the line. That's where you would expect these wind gusts to make it to the ground. And I think is that not, I think that's Montgomery. Let's see if we can go back to Birmingham. Actually, let's look at this from Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta's got a little better look at this, I think. Okay, it is. This is a much better look. All right, so I am seeing some 50 mile per hour wind gust in the upper levels of the atmosphere. up there around 3,000 to 4,000 feet. So I think 40, 45 mile per hour gust may be plausible. Places like Sykes, eventually over there around Lafayette, Buffalo, Pennon, maybe even up there around Milltown, 5 Points, Camp Hill. I mean, there's a 57 mile per hour. Again, no, don't understand me, folks. That's not at the surface. That's up at about 3,000 to 4,000 feet. But that heavy rain on top of this can push this to the ground. 58, 59. Oh, there's some pretty good wind involved in this. Heads up Waverly, Camp Hill. Out there on Highway 50, 431 coming up into Lafayette. White Plains, Rockfence Farms, Milltown, all these areas. Gusty winds coming your way. Again, we're not talking severe weather here, but, a 35 to 45 mile per hour wind gust can knock stuff over. It can take the Alabama State bird, which is the trampoline, and deliver it to your next door neighbor. So make sure you got all that stuff secured. Let's go back to reflectivity, and pretty good indication of hail there from just north of Frog Eye all the way back down the eastern side of Tallapoosa County, about to move into Chambers. So that line of storms right there has intensified. Mallory K is confirming the wind they got in Jackson Gap as this line moved through was pretty rough. Oh, Remy needs art time. Let me see what I can do, Remy. This, like I said, I had to rebuild this computer, and sometimes the telestrator is cooperating and sometimes it's not. I got to spend a little more time on that. Let me see what I can do here. Remy needs arrows. There's way too much going on the screen. It confuses her. Yeah. Let's see here. I think we're not going to be successful with the arrows at the moment. The problem is at the moment my computer is confused because it doesn't understand which app I have on top, and I have to go in and do some programming to fix that. And I have not had a chance to do that just yet. So, Remy, I can't get the arrows to work. Sorry about that. I promise you, before we have any significant severe weather, I'll have the arrows working. But if you look real close, there's a little arrow right there. That's the direction the storms are moving. So, Remy, you're down here at Beans Mill in northeastern Lee County. All of this stuff should slip to the north of you, but there's some heavier showers back off to the west that may come across northern Lee. So you're gonna get some thunder and lightning, but we don't have anything life-threatening here. This is not one of those days. It's pounding Trammell Crossroads. All right, we just got a volume scan update, and make sure we're current here. Let's see if we can give you some. All right, some times on this storm. At least the heaviest part. Storm motion 41 miles per hour, so we'll drag this out to 41. And we're 78. I don't buy that. We'll go right there. It looks good to me. And let's get your times moved over here. Now understand, you folks in Georgia, you got to tack an hour on to this. And there's your expected times of arrival. We're looking at Lafayette around 8:37. Which is knocking on your door right now. Hughley about 8:53. Lynette around 8:53. West Point about 8:54. I-85, the Chattahoochee River Bridge there at Valley around 8:55. The Georgia Visitor Center at about 8:55. The I-85 exit 2 there just north of the Kia plant at 8:56. Kia West Point right around the same time. Valley about 8:57. And then if it holds together, Pine Mountain around 9:21. Heflin, the heaviest, I think, is probably already moved through there. I could look at the radar estimate, but I got to tell you that's not going to be right. I would have to, it would take me a minute to go look at some individual gauges up there to give you the exact. Most locations are going to get around a quarter of an inch of rain out of this. There could be some isolated spots of a half inch, but for the most part, this morning we're looking at about a quarter of an inch of rain. Getting reports of trees down in the 9,000 block of Horseshoe Bend Road. That's in Tallapoosa County in the Eagle Creek community. That's being reported by the Tallapoosa County 911. Also in the 3,000 block of Dobbs Road, power lines are down. Dobbs Road and Greenleaf Street in Alexander City. Power lines are down. So that this is the storm we're looking at. So it's there's pretty gusty winds in this thing. So, Remy, the area that you need to be concerned about down here in Lee County, and I use the word concern loosely because it doesn't take much to trigger Remy. I tread very lightly here. The storm that you need to pay attention to is back over north of Eclectic. I know you don't have a clue where Eclectic is. North of Wetumpka, that's over in Elmore County. This is the storm that could potentially move across northern Lee County. But we're probably a good hour away from that. The stuff up here in Chambers County will stay north of you. But this is the storm back off to the west that you need to be looking at if you live down here in Lee County. All right, folks, I've got to take a quick break. I'm going to leave the radar in motion. Let me make a little bit of a change here right quick before I take the break. Here we go. We've started putting these legends on our radar so you can understand what's going on. And so we've got a new special weather statement now just issued by the National Weather Service out of Birmingham. And this is going to be for the remainder of the central and eastern portions of Chambers County. That's for that line of storms moving into Chambers County, all the way up to the Randolph County line. Does not include Roanoke, even though you guys are getting walloped up there right now by heavy rain. It's raining from really heavy from about Wadley all the way out 22, Dickert, all the way into Roanoke, and pretty much all the way over to Rock Mills. But the special weather statement starts at the Chambers County line and goes south because this area down here is where the heaviest part of this line is occurring at the moment. And you'll notice that beige-looking, brown-looking box, it's a very thin line that just popped up. That is a special weather statement. You can tell that by looking at the legend over here. You see that right there, special weather statement. Match the colors. It'll tell you what those lines and boxes and polygons mean. Anything, like that, just look over here in the legend, you'll see what it is. All right, so now places like Lafayette, all the way over to Lynette, back up to Standing Rock, you're under a special weather statement for this line of storms, and it's primarily for gusty winds of up to 50 miles per hour. All right, I'm going to put this in motion. Going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We'll ride this stuff until we can get it out of our counties and in West Georgia this morning. right, folks, good morning and welcome back in. Dr. Don in here with you. We continue to watch a line of pretty significant thunderstorms moving through East Alabama. They are below severe limits at the moment, but the Weather Service handling all of this with special weather statements, which simply means that the storms are strong enough that they need to tell you about them, but they are below severe limits. Nonetheless, we're getting reports of some pretty good damage along the line. This line of thunderstorms. We're getting reports now of some house fires. One in particular up in Clay County in the Bluff Springs area, off of Big Creek Road. This is being reported by the Clay County News that there is a house there fully involved that was struck by lightning. And we're seeing reports of trees and power lines down in the Alexander City area as well. Here on your Saturday morning, February 21st at 8:44 a.m. Central, 9:44 a.m. Eastern on your Saturday morning. This line is about to clear East Alabama, then it'll move into West Georgia, and the Weather Service now issuing a special weather statement for Carroll County in West Georgia. And we will get the verbiage of this up here. It's a special weather statement issued at 8:43 a.m. this morning. Again, these are Central Time, so you got to add an hour to it. It expires at about 10 a.m. this morning for Carroll County, Georgia. And let's see if we can get the text of this up, and we'll tell you that a strong thunderstorm will impact portions of Heard County through 10 a.m. Is that Heard County? Oh, I'm sorry. It's Heard County, not Carroll. So this is Heard County. That's for that part of the storm that just moved out of Randolph that the Weather Service did not issue a special weather statement on. How many times have we seen that happen over the years? You have to understand Birmingham handles Alabama up to the Georgia state line, then Peachtree City right here takes over for West Georgia, and sometimes their criteria for issuing statements and warnings is a little bit different than Birmingham. I fought that battle when I was in Randolph County for so many years. It would happen that we'd get nothing for Randolph, and the second the storm touches the Georgia state line, or even sometimes before, Peachtree City would issue statements and warnings. Who knows? But anyway, we do have, and I know storms don't just magically increase in intensity once they cross over the Georgia-Alabama state line. I could see it happening occasionally, but it's almost every single time. And I'll get off my soapbox now because I respect the folks at the National Weather Service. It's just sometimes they do this and it's frustrating. But anyway, at 9:34 a.m. this morning, a strong thunderstorm was over Freelonia, or about 9 miles west of Franklin, moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. The hazard with this storm in Heard County is up to 40 mile per hour winds, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, and heavy rainfall. Now, we know for a fact that frequent cloud-to-ground lightning is taking place because we are getting reports of fires that are taking place back across East Alabama, especially over in Clay County, Alabama. We have reports of at least one home that is completely engulfed in flames at this hour. So take note of that. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get some things going here. Icon. Okay. Maybe we have to do that later. All right. There you could see that a little bit better. I was trying to work. Again, I'm having to kind of do this on the fly as we go. I'm trying to increase the opacity of the lightning strikes here. All right, there. And come on. The opacity, where to go? There it is. Found it. Now Remy can see where the lightning is. All right, so we do have a lot of lightning up there in Heard County. Let's go in a little closer on that. That came right through Woodland. We had some very heavy lightning there, pretty much Wedowee, Woodland, Big Springs, all across the eastern side of Randolph County. Now it's moved into Heard County. And we're looking at that very heavy rainfall from Central Hatchie. Let me stop the radar loop. That's probably causing Remy to go into seizure. We're looking at heavy rainfall from Central Hatchie down to Franklin, Texas, the Auburn community, and right there around Franklin is where the heaviest of this is. We got 40-mile-per-hour winds. We've got some pretty significant lightning out there around the Heard County Elementary School, out there on 34 going toward Coweta County. And again, that's going to continue for the next 20 or 30 minutes or so. Then we follow that line down into Chambers County. We have a special weather statement continuing for Chambers County this morning. This special weather statement's in effect until 9:15 a.m. this morning. Heaviest part of the storm, no question, is right here. And that's going to be from just southeast of 5 Points to just northeast of Lafayette. That's where your heaviest wind would be. And that is moving directly toward Amity Campground, West Point Dam, Lynette, and we'll go in a little bit tighter here, Long Cane Park, Holiday Campground, and that will continue moving off to the east. So if you're over here on West Point Lake, anywhere from LaGrange down to the LaGrange-Callaway Airport, anywhere along the river this morning, you want to be in a safe place. This is not something you want to ride out there. Highway 109 bridge. Abbott's Ford, Holiday Campground, Amity Campground, or any place along West Point Lake, all the way down to the dam this morning. Schaefer Herd Campground, you want to be in a safe place. You don't want to ride this outdoors, certainly not on the water. You want to find a sturdy structure to be in as this line of storms moves through, primarily because we could be looking at 40 to 50 mile per hour wind as this line of storms moves across West Point Lake, across eastern sections of Chambers County into western Troup County. You want to be in a safe place. And then down here in Lynette, Langdale, Valley, Hughley, Casita, this entire area along I-85, you want to, heads up, you've got a pretty strong thunderstorm about to move in from the northwest. Folks, here's something you can do. You can always do this when we cover severe weather. Share our coverage on your Facebook feed with all of your friends and let them know that we're doing live coverage, and we give you live coverage none like anyone else. I know the television stations may be doing some stuff. I know our good friend James Spann does some stuff over on his Alabama network. But folks, I'm from this area. I know every nook and cranny there is across East Alabama and West Georgia. And I can talk about these locations and show them to you on radar and give you good heads up when severe weather moves in. So be a hero and share our coverage with all of your friends on Facebook and invite them to follow us here on Dr. Don's Weather. And the best idea is subscribe to us on Facebook. It's 99 cents a month. I mean, that's less than 1 cup of coffee a month. And that goes a long way to help us continue to be able to improve our technology and to continue to be able to stream here on Dr. Don's Weather. So I encourage you to do that. And you, at the very least, need to like us and follow us and comment. That's the way Facebook works. If you don't do that on a regular basis, then we fall off of your news feed, and it may be hours before you get notified that we're live or we're doing live severe weather coverage. So 2 things you really need to do, and that is to make sure that you like us and comment on us, subscribe to us if you can, and share it with your friends on your news feed. And also go to YouTube and subscribe to us on YouTube. Now, YouTube is free. It doesn't cost you anything. There may come a time when I do charge a fee for YouTube, but if you guys are already there, you're grandfathered. So it's a good idea to go ahead and do that. And then you get a push notification when we go live to cover severe weather. It doesn't work like Facebook. If you subscribe to us and you turn on those notifications for Dr. Don's Weather on YouTube, then you're going to automatically get a notification every single time we go live to cover severe weather. And if you watch us over on YouTube, you can stream us on your big screen television, and the resolution is phenomenal. It's much better than watching us on a little bitty telephone. You can see all these little nooks and crannies on the map. You can see all of the different symbols and the different colors. It's just much more user-friendly and easier to watch if you watch us on that big screen television over on the tube. So please consider doing that as well. I see a lot of you folks saying that you've just shared us on your Facebook feed, and we appreciate that. Good morning to Ephesus, Georgia, over in Georgia. Remy said she was definitely getting vertigo from all that flashing on the screen. I knew that. Bless her heart. All right, so the lightning output seems to have come down just a little bit. We're only looking at about 6 strokes of lightning in the last 3 minutes in this area, so that's good. But if you'll look real close, you'll see a line right there with that little arrow. And that's the Weather Service, or actually the radar, telling us that that's where the wind is. And it's moving off to the east. So if you're anywhere from probably Lee's Crossing, just west of LaGrange, all the way down to about Casita, or anywhere in between, that's where the heaviest wind is occurring at the moment. It's moving off to the east. So I'm going to zoom back out. Big thunder and lightning up here continues up here in Heard County. Again, look at that. The lightning output, big time right there. 74 strokes of lightning, 82 strokes of lightning in the last 3 minutes from Franklin all the way over to the Coweta County line. Out there on Highway 34, big lightning taking place there. And this same cell caused some fires back in Alabama, one particularly over in Clay County. We've got one house fire that we're working over there this morning. Heard County Elementary School all the way up to the Coweta State line there. Coweta State line. How about the Coweta County line on Highway 34, and then really all the way back over to about Noonan. We have the heavy rain moving in now over to the bypass that goes around the west side of Noonan, stretching all the way back to Franklin. So if you're in Noonan and you're headed back toward Franklin or Roanoke on Highway 34, best idea is just find you somewhere there in Noonan and grab a bite of late breakfast, maybe early lunch, and let this thing pass you before you try to drive back. Same if you're in Franklin wanting to go to Noonan. Hold up. Don't drive out there on 34 right now. That's pretty nasty weather for you to be driving in. I mean, we're talking hydroplaning. You can't see the vehicles in front of you, and there's a lot of lightning dancing around out there. So just not a good idea to be traveling on 34 between Franklin and Noonan at this hour. Special weather statement continues for Heard County. That is in effect this morning until 10 a.m. So another 3 minutes or so. We'll see if they extend that into Coweta County. If I had to bet, I would say they're in the process of doing that right now. What do you know about that? I got it right again. There's a brand new special weather statement that's just been issued for Coweta County, and that's for this area east of Franklin moving into Coweta County. Now, this special weather statement is in effect until 10:15 a.m. this morning. Maximum sustained winds on this storm running at about 40 miles per hour. This does include places like Moreland, Sharpsburg, Noonan, almost all the way to Peachtree City, Grantville, Hogansville. You're all included in this special weather statement just issued by the National Weather Service out of Peachtree City. Down in Troup County, we do not have anything as far as special weather statements are concerned. We'll see if Peachtree City pulls the trigger on that. Let me switch over to the Peachtree City chat room and see if they're talking about doing anything. We're watching the line of storms pushing through Heard and Troup. That portion of the line attempted to produce some brief localized rotation in the last 45 minutes further west back in Alabama. Okay, we saw that. Remember when this storm was back over in Chambers County and you guys were asking me about those little green circles? That was rotation. And so the Weather Service notes that this portion of the line, when it was back in Alabama, briefly tried to develop some rotation. We don't see that right now. So the Weather Service will continue to watch this very closely as it moves on over into Georgia and as the entire line sinks to the south, where there is more instability to work with. It wouldn't surprise me to see some severe thunderstorm warnings later on this morning, but that'll be well out of our coverage area by the time that happens, I believe. So Remy has chewed all of her fingernails off down here in Lee County this morning, watching this storm back off to the west-northwest from just north of Tallahassee, just northwest of Notasulga, and just west of Waverly. This area here, that's what's going to run across northern Lee County. Probably might get Auburn University, may get Opelika. I think it will. Certainly, I think it will move over Beans Mill up here where Remy's watching. So that's the part of the storm that we're watching for Lee County, Alabama. Right now, the Weather Service has not extended the special weather statement into Lee County. If they're going to do that, I think it happens in the next 5 minutes or so. And let's look at the wind on that. And we'll go to the base velocity, and let's probe that area right there. Yeah, I see some 63.9. So I see some 60 mile per hour wind gust up at 3,000 to 4,000 feet in the atmosphere right there. Some 50 mile per hour gust coming into Lynette. Again, that doesn't mean that that's what we're seeing at the ground, but look, we have a history behind this line of storms of downed power lines, trees, and with the lightning, we've also seen at least one home that was struck by lightning back up in Clay County. So we got to take this serious, and we'll see if the Weather Service is going to extend that special weather statement into Lee County. That should happen any moment now if they're going to do it. The low-level jet overriding a stationary front in central Georgia as producing a few elevated thunderstorms this morning. Okay, that's just from the Weather Service out of Peachtree City giving an explanation here. Looking to see if there's any discussion on extending into Lee, and I don't see anything. We'll watch together and see if they while we're waiting on that, I want to give you some times on this storm. Storm vector motion 44 at 79. I don't buy that 79. We're moving more like this. All right, here are some times on your storm in Georgia. Again, you've got to add an hour to this if you're in Georgia. 10:20 in Greenville, 10:28 in Gay, Georgia. Concord by 10:38, Meansville by 10:49, and Milner by 10:57. Now, this is getting over into Coweta County and beyond, so this is about to get out of our coverage area. This is going to be to the to the east of I-85, Meriwether County, I should say. And then up in Coweta, let me run the same product for you. Oh, come on, computer. All right, let's try it there. We're just going to run this right down I-85 to the southern reaches of that watch box, and then we'll run this over at about 44 miles per hour. There we go. Peachtree City at 10:13, Sonoya at 10:21, Fayetteville around 10:21, Griffin around 10:43, McDonough at about 10:46, and Locust Grove at around 10:50. A very heavy rainfall now in Hogansville, LaGrange, right there along the I-85 corridor. Now let's see if we can get some times on our storm coming out of Tallapoosa County that's going to run across northern northern Lee. And the heaviest part of this storm is right in this little bow area. So 49 miles per hour, and it's going to run something like so. So we're looking at Waverly at 9:09, Opelika around 9:25, I-85 exit 64 to Highway 29 at around 9:28. Beans Mill, there you go, Remy. Beans Mill, 9:32 is about the expected time of this area, which is well below severe limits. So don't get excited here. This is not going to be anything major for you. At least that's the way it looks at the moment. Lake Harding around 9:43, and Hamilton at about 10:59 this morning over in Harris County. We'll zoom back out. There's a big picture look. See a question up there about what time do I expect the rain to end in Roanoke? Probably another 30 minutes. I'll put this in motion so you can kind of get a feel for the direction all this is moving. And Ribby, I think we've got good news for you, at least at the moment. It looks like the Weather Service is not going to extend that special weather statement into Lee County. They're not talking about it in the chat room, and the storm is already touching the extreme northwest corner of Lee and the extreme southwestern corner of Chambers. And if they were going to extend that special weather statement, I think they would have already done it by now. So I would not expect them to do it unless the storm ramps back up. Then they could. But at the moment, the storm is moving into Lee County, and they have not extended. You can see it right there. Get back on there, Beans Mill. I got to work on that. There we go. Anyway, Beans Mill is about right there. It's right there beside that 6-6 at the I-85 as exit 66. And you can see what's coming at you, Remy. But the good news is the Weather Service not issuing a special weather statement for Lee County, at least not right this moment. Thank you, Kim, for the kind words. I appreciate that. All right, so Kay has got an update for us. In Clay County, Lineville area, power pole on fire, house on County Road 7 hit by lightning. Then they smelled gas. I saw that on Facebook. And a house on Antioch Road hit by lightning. They smelled smoke. And I saw a report that there was a house fully involved up in the looked like the northeast corner of Clay County. So the lightning is pretty nasty with this thing. I don't see a lot of lightning down here on the southern end. As a matter of fact, only 6 strokes of lightning in the last 3 minutes, and that's just east of Dadeville over toward Camp Hill. So I don't see a tremendous amount of lightning for Lee County. So Remy, I don't think you're going to have to deal with a lot of lightning. No question, the storm cell with the most lightning out there at the moment is going to be this storm situated between Newnan and Moreland up in Coweta County. And even there, the count has come down a pretty good bit. It's at about 40 strokes in the last 3 minutes. That part of the storm is going to run right over Peachtree City radar. I mean, just directly over the radar site up there at Peachtree City. But between Newnan and Moreland, it is coming a frog strangler about right now, all the way down to Grantville, really, and then over toward Sharpsburg. Just nasty. Hogansville, very heavy rainfall. Luthersville, this is about to move into your area. Lone Oak. LaGrange, very, very heavy rainfall out there around Callaway High School down to LaGrange. Troup County High School right there on I-85 from the I-185 split. Maybe some hail trying to organize around, well, between 219 and 27. That's moving toward I-185 there at the I-185 and Highway 27 interchange. Heads up Pine Mountain. This line of storms headed your way. Very heavy rainfall now on the north side of Lynette. West Point Dam. Lynette Junior High School. Valley Airport. Y'all didn't know Valley had an airport, did you? It's the Valley International Airport. The Lynette Welcome Center heads up out there on I-85. Heavy rain moving into your area. And then as we get down into the Auburn, Opelika, Lee County area, we're looking at this stuff coming through Waverly. This is the heaviest part of the storm that will affect Lee County. And that's going to run right across the northern section of Lee County. And at the moment, the Weather Service not extending the special weather statement into Southern Chambers or Northern Lee. So that is a good sign. And then as we head back into central Alabama, just mostly rain from Eclectic back over toward Millbrook, Prattville, Otagoville. Not much happening over there. But now we're looking at that from the Atlanta radar. Let me switch back to Birmingham. And, it shows us a little bit more. Pretty heavy rainfall just north of Wetumpka. Otagoville, you've got some pockets of heavier rain between Otagoville and Whitehall. And then as we get down into southern Dallas County, just a thin line of trailing showers north of Camden, over towards Sweetwater, north of Thomasville, and then back into Mississippi. Switch, see what Montgomery looks like on this northern Lee County storm. Now let's look at the velocity on this. Yeah, I'm not showing much wind. Maybe there's a small pocket of 30-mile-per-hour winds southwest of Waverly to just north of Notasulga. Let me look a little higher because that's right at the radar site. And that's getting on up there. That's at a 2.4 degree tilt, so that's way up, and that's looking way on up yonder. Let's go back down to about 9 degree tilt. Yeah, there could be some 30-mile-per-hour winds from about Waverly down to just north of Notasulga. And that's probably up there around 3,000 to 4,000 feet. So there could be some gusty winds that come across the northern part of Lee County, but well below severe limits. And it's probably better to get a true depiction of that storm to go back to the Atlanta radar. Now, let me probe that one more time. Oh, wait a minute. We got to go back to velocity. There we go. Nope. Wrong one. There we go. Yeah, I still got a little pocket of some 40 to 50 mile per hour winds there just north of Auburn. But that is so high up in the atmosphere, the Weather Service not really wanting to go with a special weather statement here. So I think we're good. You're going to get some gusty winds and some rain there in Lee County, but I don't see anything to be greatly concerned about. Weather Service continuing the special weather statement for Troop and Merriweather. That is valid until 10:30 this morning. And then the special weather statement for extreme eastern, this is going to be for central and eastern Coweta. It's for Fayette County, Coweta County, and Merriweather County. And that is valid until 10:45 this morning. That is 10:45 Eastern Time. So just as soon as this storm is out of Coweta and this storm is out of Troop, and we get about another 10-minute look at this storm coming through northern Lee, we are probably going to wind things up for your Saturday morning because we don't have any threatening weather out there. Everything is below severe weather limits. Looking at some local storm reports at 8 a.m. this morning, Tallapoosa County, Broadcast Media Home Weather Observer reported wind gusts of 36 miles per hour near New Site. There is an emergency management report in Horseshoe Bend. Trees reported down along Horseshoe Bend Road in the Topeka community. This was at 8:11 a.m. this morning. Power lines reported down along Dobbs Road just south of North Central Avenue intersection. That's in Alexander City, just north of downtown Alexander City in Tallapoosa County. That was reported at 7:53. Trees down along Dobbs Road and Greenleaf Street near Alexander City. That was at 7:54. So weather beginning to improve up here in Roanoke and Wadley and Wedowee. Lineville, Ashland, Mountain Community, Talladega looks good. Things are clearing up here in Cleburne and Calhoun. And the only area that of concern, and it's not major concern at the moment, but the only area of concern is along the leading edge of this line of thunderstorms stretching from about Tallahassee up to Lynette, all the way back to Peachtree City as it moves on into Georgia. Yeah, that thunder that you're hearing, Sharon, is moving on off to your southeast. It's not directly over you, so the threat there in Alexander City is subsiding quickly. Hey! Yeah, Teresa, you've got a lot of thunder and lightning there in the Sharpsburg area. Things are clearing up for Newnan as well. The storms are beginning to move on off to your east. We'll take you in a little closer on the Coweta County. So the heaviest storms now are over Peachtree City. So the severe threat for Newnan dissipating very quickly as it moves on over toward Peachtree City. East Coweta, maybe Sharpsburg. You still got some very heavy rainfall, thunder and lightning there, and you're still hearing thunder in Newnan, but most of that is east of 85 now. Back toward Peachtree City. So Newnan proper, things should start to improve pretty quickly. Yeah, I mean, you're still going to have some showers for another 30 minutes or so, but thunder, lightning, heavy wind, all of that stuff pushing on off to the east. Peachtree City, Fayetteville, Brooks, Georgia, Sonoya, Haralson. Most everything is east of the I-85 corridor, all the way down to Hogansville, and really all the way down to LaGrange. The heavier weather now is out of LaGrange on the east side out there, headed toward Greenville, Pine Mountain. Still got some pretty heavy rain falling now in Lynette Valley, Langdale, Hughley. Just coming into the valley area. Well, North Valley's been getting it, but so around the West Point, Lynette Valley area, from that point north, everything is east of I-85. From that point south, everything is just now coming up on I-85. There's Beans Mill. And that's what's coming at you, Remy. But again, it's not severe. Going to be a little gusty, heavy rainfall, maybe a little lightning. Here's a look at Toomer's Corner in Auburn. This line of storms. This camera shot is looking southwest. So the line of storms coming in from the northwest. So it would be back to the right of this camera shot. So we can't really see it moving in, but we can kind of see the camera shaking a little bit there. We can kind of look at the trees and get an idea on what kind of wind we're dealing with. Raining cats and dogs in downtown Hughley. Don't let producer Tracy hear you say that. She'll be on her way. She'll leave the dogs. She'll bring all the cats back with her, though. Teresa says the lightning is rough in Sharpsburg. Pouring rain, absolutely. It'll be pouring rain right there. The shot you're looking at from Toomer's Corner here in the next 15 minutes or so. Take a look at the latest graphics from the National Weather Service. This is out of Peachtree City. This is the expected areas where we could see some one or two severe thunderstorm warnings this afternoon. That would be down to the south of the I-85 area. And again, folks, we're talking about a marginal risk here, 1 out of 5. This is not going to be a red letter severe weather day anywhere in Alabama or Georgia. But for the most part across our coverage area of East Alabama and West Georgia, this threat is south of you. And this line of storms that's moving through East Alabama now is going to be the primary focus for that potential marginal risk of severe weather later on this morning and into this afternoon south of our coverage area. So that's what Peachtree City is publishing, and here's what Alabama is publishing this morning. The line is pretty much clearing the areas. Our primary area there, it's right along the I-85 corridor. So from now until late afternoon, mid-evening is when we could potentially see 1 or 2 severe thunderstorms. But honestly, I think it's going to be, if we see anything at all, it's going to be more down in the Columbus area, maybe Columbus to Union Springs, to Grove Hill, just north of Mobile, and south in Alabama. We did have a couple of storms that tried to go severe on us about an hour ago back in Clay County, over in Tallapoosa County. It's still pretty strong when it came through Randolph and Chambers. We did see special weather statements for several of our counties. But that part of the storm has now moved on over into West Georgia. And those are the only special weather statements we have left. There's your forecast, by the way. I think we're looking at rain diminishing this afternoon, headed for about 37, your overnight low tonight. Then on Sunday, full-blown sunshine. But look at the temperature. We go back into the deep freeze. 49 for your high temperature tomorrow in Roanoke, Alabama. 25 on Sunday night. Monday, mostly sunny. 41. That's it. And then we head for the low 20s, your overnight low on Monday night. So if you got spring fever this week and you did something you absolutely should not have done and planted anything, you better go out there and dig it back up because it'll get gone on Sunday night and again on Monday night. Got to wait till Mother's Day to plant, folks. Now, if you don't think these nurseries and these big box stores don't understand what they're doing by putting plants out this early, they know what they're doing, because if you plant this early, if you're tempted, and I know what happens, it's natural instinct. It's beautiful. It's sunny. It's in the 70s. You want to plant. You want to get outside. It's been a long, cold winter. I get it. Don't do it. You'll double buy, and some folks just can't learn their lesson, and they triple buy every single year. And with the price of tomato plants nowadays, you don't need to do that because it's ridiculous. Be patient. You got plenty of time. Tuesday, 52. Wednesday, we'll start that slow warming trend. This is what we do this time of year. We drop off into the deep freeze after rain and storms, and then 2-3 days later, we start to warm back up. And by the time we get up into the upper 60s, low 70s, which will happen by Thursday, here comes another cold front. 70% chance of rain likely on Thursday. Probably going to be some thunder involved in that. It's still too early to determine whether or not we have severe weather. Then we'll have rain and perhaps storms Thursday into Thursday night. And then we'll cool off again. And it'll take another 2 or 3 days to warm back up, and here comes another cold front, and we go through this again. This is very normal. This is what we do this time of year, and this pattern will continue now through March and April. And we get into our severe height of our spring severe weather, April, May. So be prepared. Be prepared for strong to severe thunderstorms. Could happen any time we go through this roller coaster ride, which will come about every 3 to 4 days now for the next at least month and a half. Yeah, up there getting your dirt ready is fine. Ain't no problem with that. But I got some coworkers. They know who they are, and I don't think they actually did it, but they wanted to really bad. Don't do it. It's too early. Especially up here in the northeast Georgia mountains. It's too early anywhere, though. We will see. We will still see several freezes. You know, here's the thing about tomato plants. It doesn't have to get down to 32 to stunt a tomato plant. They don't like cold weather, period. So you got to wait till your overnight lows, you know. I'd wait until your overnight lows go no lower than the mid-50s before I planted a tomato plant. And be careful when you go buy those tomato plants. If they've been sitting there for a week at that store that keeps them outside, you know, and there's been a cold snap in the last couple of days, don't buy those plants. They've been outside. They've been stunted. Be careful with that. Calming down in Sharpsburg. Thank you, Teresa Hubbard, for that report. We are continuing to look at this line of storms. It's really kind of slowed down a little bit. It was barreling across Alabama at about 35, 40 miles per hour. It's kind of putting the brakes on here, and that was kind of part of the discussion the Weather Service had earlier, that this thing might start slowing down as it reached the I-85 corridor, and by golly, I think that's exactly what it's doing. It's still moving off to the east-southeast, but not as fast as it was, and we are seeing some thunder and lightning there in southern Chambers. That's coming up on Lynette, Hughley, Casita, Valley, Lake Harding, Beans Mill, Opelika. Still hanging out just north of Auburn. But the good news is we have no special weather statements, no watches, no warnings at all in the state of Alabama. Peachtree City is hanging on to one special weather statement east of Sharpsburg. And that's it. So at least at the moment, things are well below severe limits across Alabama and Georgia. There's you another look at Toomer's Corner. If you look up there at the top of the screen, you can see those darker clouds racing off to the east. And it's obvious the camera's swaying in the wind just a little bit because the wind's blowing there, but no rain yet at Toomer's Corner. I got you, Remy. I'm fixing to take another break and go fix me another cup of coffee, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to leave you hanging out to dry on this one, though I'm telling you, this is not going to be anything to be concerned about. But hey, I don't have anything else to do on this Saturday morning, so I will just hang right here with you. All right, so I'm going to dip out for just a second. I'll leave the feed up, and I'm going to go grab another cup, And I'll be right back. We'll continue our coverage this morning. Nothing severe across East Alabama or West Georgia, just a line of strong thunderstorms. And so we're just kind of walking through it with you this morning. I'll be right back to continue with our coverage, at least until we get it out of Lee County, Alabama. On your Saturday, February 21st at 9:38 a.m. Central. All right, how to do East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don back in here with you on your Saturday, February 21st, 2026. We are watching severe weather. Not really severe weather, but heavy thunderstorms move across East Alabama and West Georgia. It is 9:43 a.m. Central, 10:43 a.m. on your Saturday morning, and we're looking at this line of thunderstorms sinking down into Lee County. Also, northern Harris County, extreme southern Troup, over into southern Meriwether, and that's our main focus as soon as we get this thing out of Lee County, Alabama, and on down into areas that we don't cover. Then we're going to wrap this thing up this morning. We're going to hang with you for another 30 minutes or so until we can get this out of here before the once the threat of severe weather has ended. And I got to tell you, if you're anywhere else in East Alabama, you're not under the gun. Right now, the primary focus would be Lee County, extreme southeastern Chambers, extreme southern Troup, northern Harris, into southern Meriwether County of our coverage area. Everybody else, if I didn't just mention your area, there is no threat of severe weather. You folks up in Roanoke, back over into Clay County, Heard County up into Carroll, most of Coweta, you're not under the gun for severe weather this morning. Your threat has ended. The only threat is right along that leading edge of that line of thunderstorms, and so far we've not had anything too bad. We have seen reports of some fires up in Clay County and some power line and tree damage in Tallapoosa County up there around Alexander City. Those are the only reports that we've received so far this morning, and that was earlier this morning. One thing I want to tell you about, you need to make plans to do this. This is good stuff right here. The Corinth Volunteer Fire Department is holding their Rabbit Stew fundraiser at 6 p.m. this evening at the Corinth Volunteer Fire Department there in Corinth, which is in Randolph County. You folks are familiar, you know where it's at, on County Road 43 up there north of Wadley. The Justin Farr Band is going to be in concert. For every $10 donation, you'll receive one chance for the raffles. They're going to be raffling cakes. They got giveaways, fellowship, got a gun raffle going on. Support the Volunteer Fire Department at 3378 County Road 43 in Corinth, just north of Wadley. And if you've never had their rabbit stew, let me tell you, it'll make you slap your pappy. It is some good stuff. So great thing to do on your Saturday afternoon. Again, it starts at 6 p.m. this evening at the Corinth Volunteer Fire Department on County Road 43 there in Randolph County, the Rabbit Stew fundraiser. So be sure that you check that out this morning. And again, if you're just joining us, we're watching this line of thunderstorms move through the Lee County area primarily, and then up there in extreme southeastern Chambers County. We're continuing to see some pretty heavy rain take place there in Lynette, but things should start to improve in the Lynette, West Point, Valley, Hughley, Casita area. As you'll see, the backside of it is just a couple of miles northwest of downtown Lynette, and it's moving southeast, so things will start improving there pretty quick. Heavy rain continues in Valley. Then we come on down the Alabama-Georgia state line there at the Riverview Boat Ramp on the Chattahoochee River. Some pretty heavy rain there along Highway 29 from Valley, working to the south. We see some really heavy activity. That's rainfall for the most part. Maybe some smaller embedded areas of some real small hail taking place at times. Just north of the Lake Harding area at this hour. This will continue moving into that area. Then as we work on down to the south, Smith Station, this stuff's just now moving into the I-85, 431, 280 corridor. So probably another 10, 15 minutes. It'll be down there around Smith Station. And then on down into the Columbus area in another 45 minutes or so. Moving into Auburn, lined up pretty much from Lynette all the way down to Shorter, right there along the I-85 corridor at the moment. As we switch over to the camera there at Toomer's Corner, you can see the rain has begun. Nothing heavy so far, but you'll see that you can see the raindrops falling there in the background. And some folks out getting their morning walk in, getting caught out there in the rain. They've got a brisk walk going there, going across the crosswalk, trying to get out of this stuff. No, Leslie, you're good. Just some heavy rain there in the valley area. Nothing severe. There are no watches, warnings, or special weather statements anywhere in our coverage area at this hour. We did have several special weather statements earlier this morning, but just a quick check. No, everything has expired. We have no watches, warnings, or special weather statements anywhere across East Alabama or West Georgia at the moment. As we get into the afternoon, and I said this earlier, and I still think this is the case, once these storms clear the I-85 corridor, really once they get down into the Columbus, Phoenix City area, from that point south, I think is where the better opportunities will be for maybe a handful of warnings later on this afternoon. I don't expect this to be a major red letter severe weather event across South Alabama or South Georgia, but one or two of these could get out of hand later on this afternoon, I believe, south of the Columbus, Phoenix City area. So we'll watch and see if that happens, but that's well out of our coverage area, so we will not be doing live coverage on that. But we're going to watch this at least until it clears the northern part of Lee County, right there at Auburn, Opelika, back up toward Beans Mill, and Lynette is where the heaviest rainfall is taking place right now. And you see on the screen, looking at the live shot from Toomer's Corner, the rain continues to intensify there at Toomer's Corner as this line of storms moves into the Auburn University area. That dude right there is trucking it. He's trying to get out of it quickly, and I don't blame him. Let me take you back over to the radar at the moment where this is what we're looking at. The line, again, continuing to move off to the east-southeast with that heavy rain continuing from about Lynette back down to Auburn, and then lining up right there very nicely, right along the northern side of I-85 all the way down to Montgomery, with some pretty heavy rainfall popping up right there between Prattville and Montgomery on I-65, just below the Cobbs Ford Road exit there on I-65 north of Montgomery. Thank you, Remy. It is lightning down there, no question about that. We'll zoom in a little closer on your area. There's Beans Mill right there on Highway 29. And really, right now, I think the thunder you're hearing is probably coming from up there around Lynette and Valley. Because we're showing no lightning strikes in the last 3 minutes right around the Beans Mill area. Now, understand, a very light stroke of lightning is not going to be detected. But we don't see any heavy lightning in the area for sure. Now, that frame we're looking at, and that's a pretty broad area from Woodbury, Georgia, all the way down to almost Montgomery, Alabama. We're only looking at about 17, 18 strokes of lightning in the last, really the last 10 or 15 minutes. So the lightning, I think that the rumbles of thunder you were hearing, Remy, were right up here. About Casita, maybe a little bit further south from Casita, which you can certainly hear it from that distance. And you may have even been able to see the lightning flash from that distance, but that's where the lightning was. I don't see anything down there around Beans Mill. Remy says that she meant the wind was starting to lighten up. Sounds like the rain is more steady now instead of sounding like a heavy metal concert. She tickles me to death at the way she puts things. Hey, kind of look there. That's what it looks like at Toomer's Corner. And then we take you back to the radar to show you what that looks like on radar. And there you go. That camera is pretty much sitting right there. Just a good old summertime, early spring, I should say, thunder shower right now for the most part there in Auburn. The wind's not that bad with moderate rainfall. No question, the heavier rain at this time is back over in extreme northeastern Lee County near Lake Harding. From Lake Harding back up to the I-85 interchange there at 103. Maybe some small hail. Right there on that last frame, right there. That's pretty close to the 103 I-185 interchange. State Route 116. Pine Lake Road. This is in Harris County. Hunting Trail. That would be just west of I-185, west of Hamilton. And then there's Lake Harding. Heavy rainfall moving in there. Smith Station, you're still probably about 20 minutes away from picking up some of this rain. And then Columbus, you're probably in the 45-minute to 1 hour range before it gets down there. And I think from that point south is when we'll at least have a better opportunity at seeing some stronger thunderstorms later on this afternoon. That one cell that caused all the problems in Clay, northern Tallapoosa, over into Randolph and Clay, and then over into Hurd and Coweta, still hanging on strong. Look at that thing. It's way over here south of Atlanta now, near Hampton, Georgia. Right there at McDonough, between McDonough and Locust Grove. That cell has held together all the way through Alabama. And now over into central Georgia. But that's the Atlanta television market's problem there, not ours. Okay, folks, here's what we're going to do. It's 10:01 a.m. I'm going to take it to about 10 minutes after 10. And then we're going to wrap this thing up. We have not had a special weather statement now in well over an hour with any of this activity moving through Alabama or Georgia. So we are going to wrap things up here in about 9 minutes or so with our coverage. We'll continue to monitor this throughout the day. If we see any redevelopment back off to the west or anything of any great significance, then we'll come back and continue with our coverage. But for now, we're going to wrap things up here in just a few minutes. Again, I want to remind you of a couple of things here. Upcoming events that we're going to be taking part with is going to be Bike Hike, which is right around the corner. Of course, we will do our annual live broadcast from Bike Hike. We've also got the third annual Boondocks Hurricane Party. Hang on, I'm trying to multitask. Which will be coming up, but we're trying to decide on the date on when we're going to do the Boondocks Party. It's either going to be right that last Saturday in May or the first Saturday in June. We haven't decided yet, but we're going to make that decision here pretty quick. And we will get that information out to you and let you know about that. As soon as we get that solidified, we're going to develop another Hurricane Party T-shirt. We'll have that information out for you pretty soon as well, so you can go pick up one of those. And for the Bike Hike this year, it's going to be the final Don and Robin show. If you haven't heard, Robin Hall is retiring. And though we don't know exactly when that retirement's going to take place because she's not in a hurry to go anywhere, we're going to do everything we can to make her change her mind. But this year's live broadcast from Bike Hike will be the final Don and Robin show, unless we can change her, make her change her mind. We're going to work on that. And we'll have all that information out for you pretty soon. That'll be our next visit to Randolph County. And then the hurricane party, again, like I said, the last Saturday in May or that first Saturday in June. We'll tell you for sure about that coming up real soon as well. So we hope that you make your plans to join us for both of those events in Randolph County. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also, if you haven't done so, we encourage you to head over and subscribe to Dr. Don's Weather on Facebook. Now, there is a 99-cent per month charge. Folks, I said 99 cents a month. That is less than $12 a year. And that goes a long way to help us continue to be able to provide you with local live severe weather coverage here on Dr. Don's Weather. And if you just like to make a donation to us, that's fine too. You can go to any of our daily primetime weather forecast, and there's a whole slew of opportunities in different ways that you can support us through Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. There's all kinds of different ways you can do that. You can also go to our website, drdonwx.com. All of those options are there as well. And support us when you can. This stuff is very expensive. I'm not worried about my time because this is my passion. This is what I love to do. But there's a lot of cost involved in this. Just the radar you're looking at. This thing's expensive. But it gives us the same tools the Weather Service and the big-time television stations have to be able to pinpoint where severe weather is. It takes computers, it takes internet subscriptions, it takes software, it takes production size, all kinds of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you never see, and all that stuff costs money. So if you can help us out, we greatly appreciate it. Please consider subscribing to us, share us with all of your friends, comment so that we stay on your news feed so that you know when we go live to cover severe weather. Be sure you subscribe to us over on YouTube so you get that push notification. And if you own a business and would like to be a partner with us here, a community partner, we'll put you in front of thousands of people every single day. Then all you have to do is send me a message on Messenger, and we can have you started before we do Sunday morning's primetime forecast here on Dr. Don's Weather. It's a great way. All those folks you see scrolling at the bottom of the screen there, those are our severe weather sponsors. And they help make all of this possible. So be sure you patronize these folks. Go by and say thank you. Even if you can't make a purchase, at least go by there and say thank you for being a partner with Dr. Don's Weather and making this possible for all the folks across East Alabama and West Georgia. Because we could not do this without your support and our community partners. That's what makes all of this work. And then you turn around and support them, and they can continue to support me, which I can then continue to support you by providing the severe weather coverage that you deserve across East Alabama and West Georgia. That's the way this works. Yes, Sharon, somewhere around Horseshoe Bend, there's a couple of trees down. I don't think it was anything major. All right, folks, so that's going to do it for our coverage this morning. Let me just kind of tell you right quick that we have no ongoing severe weather across East Alabama or West Georgia. You're looking at the line as it sinks off to the south. I'll zoom out just a bit. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's go over to the composite. And then let's pause it right there and zoom out so you can kind of get a big look at what's happening across the southeast. This is a composite of all the different radar sites put together, and rain now from just south of Greenville, South Carolina, all the way down to Athens, Georgia, just south of Atlanta, down to just north of Columbus to Montgomery, and then it really just falls apart when it gets down into southern Mississippi. But that's what's happening out there. The only statement we have out there right now is that thunderstorm complex that moved through Clay, Tallapoosa, Randolph, and Chambers, and then Hurd and Coweta a couple of hours ago. It is still rocking and rolling over there just east of I-75, southeast of McDonough. And we have a special weather statement in effect for that cell. That has been the one cell that has maintained pretty much all morning long across Alabama and Georgia. And then we have some heavy rain there in Harris County from about Pine Mountain back to Lake Harding in northeastern Lee County. Really kind of breaks up there around Auburn. And then more rain just east of Montgomery, but nothing severe this morning, and we don't anticipate anything severe in this area. Now, once this line gets south of Columbus, it could rear its ugly head, and we could see a handful of storms go severe down there south of Columbus, maybe southeast Alabama, places like in Georgia, maybe between Alabama and Georgia. Eufaula, Americus, Perry, Macon, down in those areas could see some stronger thunderstorms later on this afternoon. So that'll wrap it up for this morning's coverage. We've been going for quite some time this morning, and we appreciate all you folks who tuned in. We encourage you to follow us on Facebook, share us with all of your friends, and support us when you can. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I'll see you back in here first thing tomorrow morning with your Sunday morning edition of your primetime forecast here on Dr. Don's Weather. Thanks for joining us.